Yo, what's happening, Hampton? I decided to hop up on here. I'm see if I could try a little something new. See, I might have to work with me. I might not be successful, but you know how niggas be coming up online, right? And they be having a bunch of people videos. They, you know what I'm saying? They basically put down and they're playing around, have little reactions to it. But I'm gonna do it with my own videos and put them in order so I can see how it all correlates to each other. But like I say, I'm gonna try. I might mess up, I might fall off screen. I'm gonna just try. Like I said, what's happening, passion? What up, truth? What's happening, liquor? But yeah, I'm just hoping the chat stay on. But like I say, I'm about to try this out. I'm gonna start off with the Trump True Purpose video. You know what I mean? So I can see how everything that was said in the video is like happening right now. Because like I basically explained the video even before Trump even became president. I made a video years ago. I was explaining the executive orders that the president was gonna do, but in a way, because at this point in time, I didn't know that Trump would literally, because I knew all the executive orders already, right? And then when he came into office, it was just like he literally reversing everything. Like instead of being done on us, he's doing it, like I say, to the bad people, to our oppressors and whatnot. What's happening, Black Pill? I'm gonna see if I can flip this over. And I'm gonna add too in the very beginning of the video too. I'll explain how the way, you know, when they say the stars fall, you know, based on the, I explain it's high frequency, low frequency. Basically, I'm talking about the comments. And also, I'm explaining it from different perspectives on what's really happening because we all know a split is happening. As we all know, we all been rising, so we're going up, and then as basically, like I said, dimensions are merging. It's gonna be like this, but it's like at a point in time, we'll continue to rise, and everybody else, not everybody else, but you know what I'm saying, people that just don't want to wake up and just continue to fall. But I'm about to, like I say, try to switch over to a few of these videos. Like I said, I'm gonna start with the Trump True Purpose video and see what y'all think about it. If y'all look at what's happening now, I mean, all the way down to immigration, but like I say, everything that's inside the like the executive orders I mentioned years ago, exactly what he's doing, basically. You know what I mean? And I was also I'm gonna add other videos I made too, so people can understand more of what's really happening in a different perspective. What's happening? No Apex. Peace. But let me see. Boom. Because I don't know if I can stay on. I gotta keep switching on and off this tab thing, but I'm about to see. I haven't tried on a live yet. Let's see if it works. You know what? I didn't even press play on it. That's tragic. Let's see if I can do it without it falling off. And no, I don't remember how it happened. But anyways, several times before, he actually believes in free will. Currently going through. Also, as I stated before, I believe he will be the one to set off the first trumpet of the apocalypse. Revelation was hurled down to earth. A third of the earth was burnt up. A third of the trees was burnt up. And this is the war in heaven that's going to manifest here when the dimensions merge. So notice that hell and fire, which are complete opposites, right? The cold is low frequency, which will be the dragons and its creations. The heat is high frequency, which will be the grays and its creations, which are heavenly beings. That is called the Elohim. So this happens when the Skynet opens, which is the firmament. This often one can't deny us quote unquote conspiracy theorists was right the whole time, but it'll be too late for them by then. So I'm about to share a clip of this video which shows the real Mike Pompeo and Donald Trump being notified that they initiated a live and it's being led by Alex Azar because he feared the ability of Trump and Pompeo hindering his plans.
So we were alerted by some discussions that Dr. Redfield, the director of the CDC, had with Chinese colleagues on January 3rd. It's since been known that there may have been cases in December, not that we were alerted in
the background saying you should let us know.
Excuse me, we'll do it in a second. Mike,
But this is man years ago, like this is probably back in
about China and what they knew and when they knew it. And I've been very critical. We need to know immediately. The world is entitled to know. The Chinese government was the first to know of this risk to the world. And that puts a special obligation to make sure that data, that professionals. This is not about retribution. This matters going forward. We're in a live exercise here to get this right. We need to make sure that even today, the data sets that are available to every country, including data sets that are available to the Chinese Communist Party, are made available to the whole world. It's an imperative to keep people safe.
And this is the reason I said the real Mike Pompeo, because somehow he managed to lose 90 pounds in 6 months without surgery, without nutrition counseling, or without a personal trainer. If that's not suspicious, I don't know what is. If I haven't noticed, the same thing that happens to celebrities will happen to with their agenda. Here's Alex Azar. Was there not a czar, Alexander, that started wars everywhere? This is history repeating itself. So do y'all remember when Trump was downplaying the situation in the very beginning? Famous line, it's just one person coming from China. Also note, it wasn't planning on declaring a public health emergency. I know it might sound like a lot, but as long as he delayed it, he literally saved millions of people with all the delays he created in their plan. Because once again, he believes in free will, not the coercion, because they have to face their karma for that. So eventually, Alex Azar went ahead and issued the public health emergency. This forced Trump to issue a national emergency. When he issued a national emergency, he gave up all of his power to FEMA. This is why immediately after he declares a national prayer day, because he knows the power of manifestation and he knew he lost all control over the situation. So us to use our power to prevent this whole thing from happening. So FEMA isn't what we think it is. We all should have known that when we seen them coffins all around the country. And it was for this particular reason for what they're planning right now. FEMA was created in a series of executive orders. A presidential executive order, whether constitutional or not, becomes law simply by its publication in the Federal Registry. Congress is bypassed. The executive order 12148 created a federal emergency management agency that is to interface with the Department of Civil Defense Planning and Funding. A emergency czar will be appointed czar. He is the one that initiated a public health emergency, which forced Trump to issue a national emergency, which led to him losing power and giving it all to FEMA. So he's the one that initiated the pandemic. And what makes this so obvious is his name. He is a czar, right? And he issued the emergency. Not only that, he was the first chairman of the White House House 19 task force for only 1 month, meaning he only came in to initiate the war. So back to the executive orders. EO number 12656. This is what allowed the lockdowns and gives them the right to federalize the National Guard to seal all borders and take control of U.S. airspace and all ports of entry. Allows the takeover of all modes of transportation and control of highways and seaports. Allows them to seize and control communications media. Y'all see what's happening on TV and social media. Allows to take over all electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals. Their first test was the gas prices. Y'all remember that, right? Allows them to take over all food resources and farms. We see GMO everything. Allows them to mobilize civilians to work brigades. That sounds like slavery to me. Allows them and welfare functions. That is clearly happening right now. Designate the Postmaster General to operate a national registration of all persons. That was the census that went out a few years ago during the lockdowns. Allows them to take over all airports, aircraft, and commercial aircraft. Allows the Housing Finance Authority to relocate communities, build new housing with public village, new locations for populations. So for instance, let's say a big old fire just happened somewhere. This is exactly what they are talking about. This is why rent has been increasing everywhere, no matter where you at or what kind of place you have. They're trying to get you out on the streets so they have more authority over you to place you in these specific communities. So it'll be easier for them to control. Allows them to take over railroads, inland waterways, and public storage facilities. All executive orders into effect in times of increased international tensions and economic. Now you see exactly why I always talk about the stock market, because it's literally our lifeline. All those orders are going into effect at one time. All they was doing before was practicing it at different times. The pandemic before the real pandemic, which is World War III, the apocalypse, the rapture. So when all executive orders is in effect, They have the authority to institute industrial support to establish judicial and legislative liaison to control all aliens, to operate penal. And what I told y'all before, we are the aliens. We are alien because they believe they own our bodies. This is why they are called vessels. So clearly, FEMA been running the show for the last few years. This is why on Biden's first day, he signs executive orders to reverse Trump's policies because Trump was giving back power to the Republic. He did this in order to give power to the WHO, which will be their God, corporation-wise. Now let me explain. I'll show you how they already building a new world order right now, and we just didn't notice. As y'all can see, the guy that was pointed right below the king. As y'all can see, the only way you get this. All right, so I had to stop that so I can hear me. Y'all can hear me though? So basically when I talk about the FISA, I mean, that's a whole thing. Y'all know it's spelled completely different, but that's when they was forcing everybody to take that hot sauce or whatnot, right? And that's how they started hierarchy. But of course, the WHO was going to be on top. But obviously, since Trump got into office, he reversed everything they try to do on us. Like, for instance, the WHO was supposed to be on the top. First thing defunded. You know what I mean? Like everything was planned on to be done on us. You know what I mean? They tried to include everybody, you know what I'm saying? But the main people, but now at this point in time, he's trying to separate people and basically send them to where they need to be at because like a lot of people don't want to accept the fact that we've been invaded type thing, you know what I mean? A lot of people is over here and they really just don't know, you know what I mean? But that's a bad thing because they'll still fight for something that they don't know about. But you know what I'm saying? When I'm saying that there's a whole, that's the race that been taken over that always been here in America, but people think we all came from Africa when we didn't. And that's the biggest issue here. So they obviously that's who they really been targeting during all these, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to take our bloodline away with the hot sauce because it's really gene therapy. Then it obviously destroys your genetics. But yeah, honestly, that whole period, I don't want to say the wrong thing for the, you know what I'm saying, they get me, but the whole period of time when we was going through that during 2019, that was they using all the executive orders against us in waves, basically, you know what I mean? But they were getting everybody to the point too. They would just accept the fate without really thinking about anything, that type thing. But they're trying to give you free will so you can at least think of what's happening now. But yeah, let me go to this next one. Let me switch over. Y'all can still hear me though, right? What's happening? Hey, what's happening, Brian? I love that you make it known that we are from Africa. Can't talk about the QB Trust. Oh yeah, like I said, I got a few videos put together, but I mean it all goes together at the very end. Like last video, it might last too long, but the basis it's gonna tie in these videos I got that I'm trying to put in order so people can understand more and like where everything begin off at. And basically what he's doing, like in the executive orders, that like basically talking about immigration thing and everything in executive orders too. But they, like I said, they gonna do it by the quote unquote paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, by paper it look like one thing when really it's not. And that's what they've been doing this whole time. But that's why getting rid of birthright citizenship and all the extra stuff. But like I said, I got all the laws and policy things basically wrapped up in these videos I'm trying to put together in this one video. Like I say, hopefully it don't last too long so people can watch it after the fact, you know what I mean? If they want to, they chilling and bored and like they feel like, you know what I'm saying, learning and seeing something. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do this so it make more sense. So you know what I'm saying? Obviously I make a bunch of videos, but like I say, a lot of people don't understand that a lot of them correlate, so they just haven't seen the video at all. Because a lot of people be asking about this and asking about that, but then like I made a video on it, but it's like people don't ever see it. But it'd be easier if I was to put it in complete order and then be like, dang, it makes sense, you know, when I said this back then, because a lot of these videos I made well before everything that's happening right now started. And I've been explaining like this is what it been meaning this whole time. This is what's been happening and what they be meaning. And it goes right back into the Cestui Que Vie trust. Like even in the trust. Matter of fact, let me see if I can switch that right now. I got the thing actually pulled up. Let me see if I switched it. Will that work? Hold on a minute. I don't know. Did it switch over? No, it didn't even switch over. I probably got to click on the actual page so you can see it. Yeah, I'm gonna just wait till we get to that video because I'm gonna ask switch off this whole page. And I think this is the first one I'm even trying to do this, so I ain't gonna go back. I know, because again, like I made these videos, not really a while, within a year or so. Well, at least this one. Automatic. You probably can see me, but yo, insulting my intelligence. This shows how you can be waking up, but one post puts you right back into ignorance just because they cannot comprehend what I'm saying. Down. So let's start off with this. The original term for American peoples of the Americas, or colored races, to descendants of quote unquote African Americans was already us and the land that we was already living on. Then they claimed everything is property, a name such as quote unquote African Americans. So they add African in front of our race, all in order to make it seem as though we don't belong here. But everyone else from all over the world consider themselves an American with nothing in front of it. That is colonization and then stealing their identity. I mean, it's already bad enough that they lied and said everything started in Africa when they already know everything started in the Americas. And clearly, they are moving the goalposts now and saying everything started in Europe. So check it. In John's vision of Christ, it says he was in the spirit on the Lord's day, meaning outside of time and space, so he was able to see the future. Number 11, describing what he's seen in the future and writing it down and giving to the 7 churches, which is the 7 reptile races that makes. He said he's seen someone like the Son of Man. So I'm sure y'all know how people describe Jesus as the Son of Man, right? But notice it says like sons of man. Number 14 says his hair is white as snow. And keep in mind, all races' hair don't turn white as they age, it turns gray. Number 15 says his feet was like bronze, glowing in a furnace. Basically, the sun is shining off of him. But guess what bronze is made out of? It's made out of primarily copper and tin. So back at this, the sons of man is described as the Americans, the indigenous people of the Americas, the quote unquote copper colored races. As I always say, there's an image of man and then there's the image of a dragon. Those two images mix, and that's what started the war. So we are currently in the 4th world. But last world is when the war started, as y'all can see, I have labeled up. That's when the serpents created their own race of humans called the Israelites. The original humans and angels are the quote unquote black people all around the world. That's why the elites, who are the leaders of the 7 reptile races system and psyops, to oppress the original humans and angels, not us, unless you participate in their system on a high level or you fell for one of their psyops at the end using your consent, which is your free will. Just look around at who's running all the businesses. Look at where they're selling, look at what they're selling, and what they control, and how they really feel about quote unquote black people, in their private lives. So everyone's whole life has been a psyop to go against. Yeah, y'all can still see me. Yeah, I definitely messed something up there, I think. Let me try that one more time. They are literally a lost soul because they are being controlled. But that's why they work to disconnect you from the spirit so they can control your soul. For instance, people have been brainwashed to think the rapture is a good thing when it literally means seizure or kidnapping. I mean, think about the famous verse. I know y'all all remember it, like a thief in the night. They are making sure you know exactly what they're talking about. But if you're asleep and you want to infuse the truth, you're not going to see the truth right here. It's still going to be people in the comments telling me that this is an act or instance of deporting. Now, the instance, the removal from a country or an alien who judicial. Now, remember earlier, I proved to y'all earlier that quote unquote copper colored people in the Americas were already here, meaning it's our country. There's a lot of people here that's doing dirty work that shouldn't even be here because it isn't. But let's dig a little deeper. Prejudicial, harmful to someone or something detrimental. We literally have a judicial system that targets who? The quote unquote the Americas. You see, there's a spirit of law that we all have to follow if you have a spirit because we have free will. Now, legal is a system they use to target the copper colored people in the Americas to get them and coerce them to break the spirit of law. As y'all can see, for example, it is quote unquote legal to own a slave, but it isn't moral, which breaks the rebel because the spirit of law is being broken, but now he's breaking the spirit of law, but only because of the situation it's put in. So basically, they're doing the same thing right now with all these large companies and any practices, which is most businesses everywhere in the Americas, buildings, and be seeing quote unquote black people everywhere. You can literally find them all out in the field doing the physical work, and obviously that creates problems for generations. Again, these people that participate in rapture, they still don't know right from wrong. They even come online acting all spiritual, like they understand, but really just doing it for the bag. They'll get off knowingly are oppressing people. So Trump has repeatedly said on day one he will seal the southern border and launch what he called.
Do you wish there was a simpler way? I get it.
That's crazy.
It's a way with more questions.
Yeah, I gotta figure something
Look at your teacher and your textbooks skip those important in between.
I hope they don't last used in World War II, which is a clear signal. Always been saying for years, they're going to mix the war, the rapture. No one truly knows what happened to anyone. I said all that to say this. Mass deportation, as I shown y'all earlier, it means kidnapping, and it will be hanging together and oppress other people on their own lands. Now, so get better in order to move forward, or just revert. It's the easiest way out. It usually comes in the form of gaslighting by saying things like, it's not about race, we are one, which is totally ignoring the fact of everything for no reason, only because we have a particular bloodline. You wouldn't ever make a comment like that. You wouldn't even get mad. But if you don't, you'll be getting upset every time race is brought up by someone else, the image of a dragon. I was saying this mixed with the image of man. We are this because of us, but it was mixed with. Oh yeah, I know it's probably lagging because like I said, in my first time trying to add some videos and put it in order. It's like maybe I could watch, you know what I'm saying? Somebody like maybe it might look too bad after it's already downloaded and people can watch it after the fact and they can watch all the videos at once. But like I said, I try to respond to the chat at the same time, you know what I'm saying, after every video at least. But yeah, it's gonna definitely I can definitely see it lagging, man. That's why I was wondering. I'm in that, put that in the chat too. I wasn't even sure people could hear or see me anything. But yeah. So as y'all can see, the Trump mass deportation plan, like I explained to you, like what the rapture really is. I mean, it's a kidnapping, you know what I'm saying? And it's like people just don't, you know what I'm saying? People don't want to look at what they're doing. But like I always said beforehand, before the real reset, they're gonna probably try to do their own reset. And obviously this is what they're doing. So people can really make their last choice, you know what I'm saying? Because people they don't want to wake up, bro. They don't have like their retards for the rest of their life. Yeah, they don't see nothing that's happening right now. And I keep seeing y'all talking to Cestui Que Vie. I already had that thing pulled up. Like I said, I planned on showing that anyways. And see, I can pull it up now. I'm going to go switch back and forth here. Damn, it might be a little too small for me to read right here. Let me slide this up some. Okay, there you go. I'm like, man, what's going on here? Yeah, you can see Cestui Que Vie right here, right? Don't tell me I'm still lagged even on a picture. That's crazy. Anyways, as y'all can see on here, this is Cestui Que Vie Act of 1666, and we all know 666, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and protons. That's us. You feel me? I mean, it's basically the enslavement of the bus. And y'all can literally see in here, in the official document, look at the way it says, people been granted by the estates. It's like for one of the estates, right? Like, you know, when you hear the United States of America, They mean the states, like every person is a state. And then we're all United States of America, but they got y'all like basically the states we think are and all that type stuff. Those aren't really the states of the USA. Those are states of the United States corporations. That's a big difference. People just don't know that. But it just like I said, that's how people get so confused. And then everybody power. That's why they put it to one star and into the, you know what I'm saying, into the actual flag. That's why it becomes a star, because we all end up voting for those states and giving our power to the states instead of ourselves, because we are the states of America. But anyways, we all know the USA is different from the US, but that's the difference. Anyways, go back up here, and they'll tell you right here, basically, you grant to this state, which is your body, for lease, quote unquote. That's why I be saying where the real aliens, they can say aliens. Like I said, they believe they own our bodies. Like I done showed y'all, that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother video. I don't get confuse everybody too much. I'm trying to stay within, you know what I'm saying, within what we can see with our eyes. You feel me? Anyways, right here, as you can see, the body is leased for one or more life or lives. Why would they say that? Why? Just think about that. How? They want to say releasing our bodies. So it's almost like, so I'm gonna go deeper into it. But anyways, you see lease for one or more lives or lives. This is in the act itself. This is what your social security number is tied to. Think about that. So I mean, why would they put that inside of any kind of quote unquote legal lawful document? Anyways, you see one or more lives have often happened to such a person whose lives in the United States have been granted, have gone beyond the seas, or absented themselves from many years from the lesser of the revisioners, cannot find out whether such persons be alive or dead, by reason whereof the lesser revisioners have been held out of possession of their tenements for many years, after all lives upon which estates depend on it dead in regard. The lesser revisioners had brought actions to recovery of the tenants, having put upon the death of the tenants, when it is almost impossible for them to discover the same remedy, the mischief so frequently happening to lessers revisioners. I mean, long story short, this part right here, just to take to it, they're telling you got lives, you have multiple lives, right? For one. So let me slide back. And like I said, this is my first time trying to go do all this on the side. So like I said, work with me a little bit. Go to the second page, because that right there tells you, like I say in short, you got multiple lives. So boom. Now let me switch back, because I don't know if y'all can still see me right now or not, because I can't see me. So I can switch back to YouTube. So boom. All right, so boom. It says Cestui Que Vie remaining beyond sea. Look, for 7 years together, and no proof of their lives, judge, action, direct, verdict, or through Cestui Que Vie where they're dead, right? So basically, right, this is when they say you got to declare yourself as alive after 7 years, right? So why, like for instance, recently, right, they just basically determined saying that the age of dependency basically is coming from the age of 18 all the way down to the age of 7, right? This is why it's going down to the age of 7. Because by the age of 7, you do know everybody do have full common sense of everything. Some people my age and still act like they're 7, 10 years old. You know what I mean? I don't mean to say retarded, but you know what I'm saying? They act like they don't want to know nothing. But by then, you know right from wrong. You probably know what you want to do for the rest of your life. You might already know your dream job. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like there's no point in going to school. If you already know what you want to do and make you happy, you'll be the best in it. Do it. By that age, a lot of people already know. Oh yeah, the Golden Dome, right? Oh yeah, I talked about that. I was talking about that earlier. One of the first videos. That's the first thing I explained. on the Trump to Purpose video, like literally the first thing, why? I was like, you see, the first thing I said is like building the Golden Dome, although it's already built, but you know, they always say things well after the fact. But anyways, as y'all can see right here, you got to clear yourself at 7 years old. By 7 years old, or basically everything that should be yours, they just take away from you. Like I say, they control it, all C3 your Social Security number and all that type stuff, but they don't tell you about the whole system because nobody knows about it. Now let me slide down a little further down now, because this I'm going to the whole point of like basically, you know what I'm saying, like all the immigration thing and all that extra stuff. Excuse me. All right, so boom. If the supposed dead man proved to be alive, the title is revisited and actions for means proof with interest. So what's happening now? This is a part of the act, right? A lot of people, because everything that's owned is still tied to us. You know what I'm saying? Even though they committed fraud or do everything, all the fraud y'all been hearing being like exposed, like Doge and all that type stuff. That's been stolen. I've been stolen from us, the American people. Literally, everything is still tied to our names, and all they've been doing is trying to hide it and launder it through other countries. So this is in here. So what's happening is they're reversing everything that got us in the fraud and putting them in the jail. So they got to give up everything that they already stolen away from us, because they basically stole all our stuff because we never claimed ourselves, you know, and have our own trust. You know what I'm saying? They steal our stuff and place our stuff in their trust. And it's stolen goods. So they got to, you know what I'm saying, it's giving back. A lot of stuff that a lot of people have is stolen. They might not even know it's stolen, but it's stolen because it's still technically still tied back to the people that own it. So anyways, provide. All right, so boom. Like I just said, if the man was proved to be alive now, boom. So they, like I said, they're reversing the whole process. So they're making us alive because we're clearly here, and they're counting for people now. So that's the whole point of the immigration thing, because everybody need to go back to where they're from so they can account for you to do things the right way, to account for everything, because everything went rogue once all these dirty, the elite got in, because they're not just here in America, they're in every country. That's why every country is bad, because of them. They're the one creating all the issues in every country. So once they're gone, there is no issue. But the thing is, you got to get people back to where and set things up. Like I said, reset things so they can do things the right way. Because there are no more people that's here that like intentionally doing things the wrong way. Anyways, let me read this before I keep talking. All right, so provided always that if one person, that if any person or person shall be evicted out of any lands or tenements by virtue of this act, that afterwards such person or persons upon whose life or lives or estates depends on shall return again from beyond the seas, and shall improve that any actions to be brought to recovery of the same to be made appear to be living, to have been living in the time of the eviction that then and therefore the tenant or lessee who has outed the same, his or their executors, administrators, or signees shall may repossess, have hold, and enjoy said lands, tenements in his or hers former estate for and during the life of lives, or so long term as said person upon whose life or lives or estates depend on the living, and also shall upon actions be brought upon him, and then against the lesser revisioners or tenants in possession. Yeah, that's really small. In possession of any person, respective, which since the time of the said eviction received the profits of said lands and tenements, recover for the damages and the full profits of said lands and tenements, respectively, with lawfully interest for and from the time that he or they were outed of the lands or tenements and kept and held up the same by the lesser revisioners, tenements, and persons who, after the said eviction, received the profits and said lands, tenements of any. Oh, I can't even press right there. I keep forgetting. Got to slide over here. Then respective place and said the persons upon whose lives and lives, estates, did, it depends, or shall and did in the time of bringing of the said actions, and if the persons were then living. All right, so boom. As you can see, they say you can have multiple bodies, you can have multiple lives. And obviously, they're literally telling you within the Cestui Que Vie Act, it's telling you that you literally, like, everything will be returned back to you that was stolen from you if you was to become alive again, approved to be alive. But like I say, most people don't know nothing about this, even though we can clearly, you can clearly see it with your eyes right now. You know what I mean? You can clearly see with your eyes right now. But excuse me, people refuse to believe that we've been caught up in the war and they made things like this so you don't know. Not so you don't know, but you know, but it's right there. But it's like, it's right there, but you don't know that it literally said, like I said, the Cestui Que Vie Act of 1666. It's crazy. But anyways, y'all can literally see, right? But this is another part of the immigration thing. Like I said, I'm trying to put these videos together so people can understand it more. But like in here, it's telling you why. Like immigration isn't bad. It's not like they send everybody to jail. I mean, if you're a criminal, you go to jail. But it's like you got to go back so you can do the process, right? Because they're trying to reset everything. I ain't going to a good place, you know what I'm saying? Some people gonna be stuck on this realm and they gonna, you know what I'm saying? At least gotta keep some kind of order. But that's all they're trying to do is give people back everything they deserve. Because, like, for instance, people that's leaving off their lands because of war and all that, they say war, but like I say, basically they're getting funded by the same people that's over here stealing our stuff. They over there funding the you know what I'm saying, the Talibans and all the cartels and all that type stuff. They're funding them and making those people want to leave to come here. Like, think about that. And then when they come here, they pay them to live here while taking money from us and sending back to the cartels. You see how the way that's going. It's just like, it's like they creating a problem, they create more problems, but they make it seem like they're helping people while creating problems. So once a problem stops, it look like they're stopping. You know what I'm saying? Like they're stopping people that's being helped, but it's like they don't see how the way that's destroying the country that they're living in. Well, at least the people of the country, because like I say, everything was reversed on people that was here already, and everything designed like this. Oh, you said human, I mean, he said kind of zoom in. See, like I said, I got to figure out a lot of stuff about this, like this internet stuff, because I'm trying to figure out how to do the stream through the OBS and all the extra stuff. I was doing that for a few hours trying to figure out all that stuff. Now, like, let me just go live. You know what I'm saying? At least one time and try this way out first, because otherwise I'll be stuck trying to figure out how to do this thing forever. I was trying to do. I did try a few days ago. I was gonna go live. I was like, let me try this again. You know what I'm saying? But then I did that for a few hours trying to figure stuff out, and I was like, man, I just got off it. You feel me? Because that's, like I said, I be wanting to have something in the background to show how I talk sometimes. But otherwise, I might just start hopping. You know what I'm saying? I could just hop on, but start talking about a lot of stuff. But I know sometimes you got to see some things in the background. But yeah, man, it's wild. But I'm about to hop off this thing though. I'm hop back on, like I said, but I'm trying to figure out a few things. I'm gonna see how this look. I don't want to make this thing too long, but I want to see how this look from the outside and see mistakes I made in this, see if I can make it better, or just gotta wait till I figure out the whole streaming thing before I can try to start, you know what I'm saying, having things in the background. Because like I said, I see this flag, I see what I'm saying, the chat and all that. You know, I'm gonna figure it out though. A human guy looking like about to get that Black Swan event soon. Yeah, bruh. Yeah, man. But like, I'm gonna hop off this one. I might actually hop back on here later, but I won't have all this in the background. But I don't know. I gotta figure something out. Or I might have on my Facebook. But I'm gonna figure out something out about all the streaming stuff so I can show things in the background, even the most recent events. But I didn't want to show a lot of things together, but I don't even know how to do it, man. And I know it's probably slowing the stream, you know what I'm saying? Slowing things down and figure it out. You start to make the video sound distorted, broken up. Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm gonna end the stream because I gotta. So it's like I gotta see what's what because I'm using a microphone on the laptop, and that's probably why I actually do got a bigger microphone. But I remember I had a video probably a few weeks ago with the microphone, made a long video, probably like 20-30 minute video. Then I figured out that the mic wasn't on, and I thought it was on. I was like, what? So it was like no sound at all the whole time. But yeah, I've been trying to figure out all this stuff myself. You know what I mean? That's how it is down here, man. Hot out here for you, boy. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna figure it out though. I'm gonna figure it out. But like I said, I'm gonna hop back on here, but not all this stuff. Or it might be my Facebook, but check me out though. I gotta end this. Made a little bit too long, but y'all know how I keep it. Y'all be guys. Peace.